Grain was one of the few currency-earning products of the Soviet Union. Its production took place over vast territories of the socialist bloc countries, particularly in what are now Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. To fight pests, the workhorse was used, as simple as a crowbar and versatile in every respect. The An-2 biplane, which in addition to spraying pesticides, was also used for cargo and passenger transportation. But in the early 1970s, Soviet officials decided it was time to retire the An-2 and build something original in its place. Something so impressive that the whole world would be amazed. And the world was amazed when it saw the Mielec M-15. In early 1971, the Soviet and Polish governments signed an agreement to develop and produce various aviation products, including in agricultural aircraft, light helicopters, and seaplanes. Less than a year later, the Mielec M-15 itself began, designed by the Soviet engineer Ryomir Adamovich Izmailov, and produced in Poland by order of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. It remains the only jet-powered agricultural aircraft and the only jet-powered biplane, except for the heavily modified An-2, which served as the predecessor to the M-15 prototype under the name Lala-1 from Poland. Latitsy Laboratorium. To begin with, they decided to include 3,000 aircraft in the production plan. The aircraft developers took a special approach to achieve effective chemical spraying. Chemicals, when flowing by themselves through the tubes from the tanks, disperse poorly. Aircraft used for crop dusting are equipped with special sprayers powered by the aircraft's engine, either through mechanical drives or from the onboard generator. Both the mechanical transmission and the electric motor add weight and have mechanical power losses. The designers of M-15 decided to use compressed air taken from the engine for spraying, thus eliminating unnecessary weight. However, agricultural aircraft operate at low speeds. The operating speed of the M-15 is 180 kilometers per hour, at which a turbojet engine is not very efficient, and the AI-25 engine produced by the Zaporizhzhia company Motorsich has increased fuel consumption. To reduce the operating and takeoff speeds, as well as the stall speed, the M-15 was made a biplane. The tanks were placed on the wings not for aesthetics, but to reduce the twisting moment at the wing roots. At the same time, the tail had to be made disproportionately large and placed as high as possible to compensate for the moment of inertia and to move it out of the turbulent airflow left behind the fuselage and the tanks. The aircraft was operated by a single pilot. The tiny fuselage could hold either 3 tons of pesticides or 2 passengers. Polish test pilot Andrzej Abramowicz, during the premiere of the M-15 at the Paris Air Show in Le Bourget in 1976, nicknamed the M-15 Belphegor because of its very strange appearance and the howl of its jet engine. That's an archdemon with a fitting appearance, who often appeared in medieval mysteries. For some reason, the Soviet Union placed great hopes on the M-15. Fortunately, from the start of production in 1976 until it was discontinued in 1981, only 172 units were built. The M-15 had plenty of problems. Its maximum flight range was only 400 kilometers, which is half that of the An-2. It was much more expensive to produce, and servicing or repairing the turbojet engine was harder than the turboprop unit of its predecessor, especially on remote airstrips. Pilots had to be retrained. All of this delayed and greatly increased the cost of switching to the M-15. N-2 provided enough cargo and passenger space so that the aircraft could perform a wide variety of functions. It could accommodate 12 passengers with their luggage. The Polish M-15 was classified exclusively as a highly specialized aircraft for spraying fertilizers, with no versatility. Finally, the M-15 was also exceptionally ugly. It doesn't have a single attractive feature, which is quite an achievement, since most airplanes usually have at least some redeeming qualities. It's no wonder that it was nicknamed Belphegor, after the biblical demon of greed. WSK-Mielec's M-15 turned out to be a big disappointment. 155 out of the 172 planes built were delivered to the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics and were used from 1976 to 1983, after which they were retired and scrapped. Only 2 examples of the M-15 have survived in Russia, both in very poor condition. One is located at the Main Branch Museum of Civil Aviation History in Ulyanovsk, and the other is on display at the Central Museum of the Air Force of the Russian Federation in Monino, near Moscow. The Polish example, on the other hand, is presentable enough to be shown to visitors at the National Museum of Agriculture and Food Industry in Sriniawa. That's all. To help promote this video, give it a like, click the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss new reviews. Write in the comments what topic you'd like to see a video about.